Today's video will explain how the program trace method will help a student ace a test. Hello, I'm James Helfrich. A program trace is a useful method of finding bugs in your own code, but did you know it is also a useful method for acing a test? It seems counterintuitive, but it's true. A recent study was done that showed that students who used the desk check or the program trace technique during a test actually did 2 letter grades better. This video will explain those results as well as show you how you can use the program trace method to better perform on a test. A few years ago, a study was published called The Effects of Desk Check on Exam Performance. Now, desk check is another name for program trace. The idea here was we wanted to see if students who used the program trace technique did better or worse on exams. So the study was done in a beginning programming class where the students did a write-on test for predicting the output of code. And there was about 100 students who took this test. And then afterwards, we carefully analyzed the number of students who used the program trace and those who did not. Now, the interesting thing is the students who used the program trace and did not had roughly the same grade in the class moving into the exam. However, there was a drastic difference in the performance of the students who used a trace versus did not. In other words, it's not like the smarter students used the trace. It was used pretty much evenly across the whole demographic of students. However, there was a drastic difference in performance. And so here's an example of a trace used in the exam. And here's another one, and another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. And you can see in each of these cases, it only took maybe 10 or 15 seconds to write out the trace, but each one of those counts as a trace. Notice some people use line numbers, some do not, but the important thing is they're tracking the execution of the program line by line for each of the individual variables. So the results were quite interesting. First of all, here's the statistical results for those of you who love the inferential statistics. This is the ANOVA that was run. The average of students who used the desk check, otherwise known as program trace, was 78%, and the average score who those did not use it was 61%. So here we have a very large difference of 17% for those who use the trace versus not. And remember, the students had a very comparable grade moving into the exam. Results indicate that the controlling for the class score, in other words, their grade going into the exam, there is a significant difference between the students using the desk check or trace and those who do not. And so the p equals 0.00. In other words, there's 0% chance that the effect size we're measuring is by chance alone. Usually the threshold is 0.05. In other words, there's a 5% chance that what we're noticing is random, but here there's less than 1% chance that random effect is causing this difference in score. The conclusions: the desk check technique has been shown to produce a significant improvement in the accuracy of beginning programmers to predict the output of code. Now, no data was collected suggesting the students understood the code better through the desk check technique. Instead, it shows they made less mistakes. You can have a 16% chance increase in your score by simply using the program trace rather than not. And didn't do a study on this, but I'm going to guess that's probably a bigger impact on your grade than actually studying for the test. So you can learn how to perform a program trace in the trace chapter of the software design textbook.